Council and members of the public can see the delegation documents I've submitted at pages 318 through 408 in the agenda package. I'm here today to speak against water fluoridation in Regina and to oppose the allocation of budget money for fluoride infrastructure. Fluoride is a known toxin, neurotoxin, and carcinogen. People should be aware that the type of fluoride being considered for our water supply, hydrofluorosilicic acid or HFSA, is not naturally occurring calcium fluoride. HFSA is an artificial fluoride. It is actually an industrial waste product, most often sourced from the fertilizer industry. HFSA is highly toxic and highly corrosive. It has been shown to leach metals out of water pipes. In one study, the addition of fluorosilicic acid to the water caused lead levels to increase by 9 times. Can City Council guarantee that the addition of this highly corrosive industrial waste product will not result in increased contamination, particularly of lead, in the city's water? Can City Council guarantee that the addition of HFSA will not require regular replacement of corroded machinery, pipes, and hot water tanks, putting an even greater financial burden on the taxpayers? I have submitted hundreds of studies to Regina City Council showing health harm from fluoride exposure. They can be seen in my supplemental documents. In these studies, we see fluoride-related health damage, including arthritis and joint pain, kidney dysfunction, thyroid dysfunction, endocrine disruption, cardiovascular damage, softening and demineralizing of the bones, increase in bone fractures, skeletal and dental fluorosis, chronic inflammation, neurotoxicity and cognitive damage, gastrointestinal disorders, calcification of the pineal gland, blood glucose regulation problems, cancer, oxidative stress, and reproductive damage. Residents of Regina with underlying health conditions are at higher risk of systemic fluoride toxicity from water fluoridation. I am one of the many people who will be harmed if Council goes ahead with the ill-advised plan to force fluoride on the residents of Regina against their will. I was injured and permanently debilitated by a fluorine-infused antibiotic called ciprofloxacin in 2009. These antibiotics have harmed millions of people around the world over the past 3+ decades. One of the reasons fluoroquinolones are so potentially toxic is that they're infused with fluorine, the root substance of fluoride. This is also why central nervous system damage is common in fluoroquinolone survivors. Many doctors to this day would insist that fluoroquinolone antibiotics and other fluorine-infused drugs are perfectly safe. This is the same refrain we hear from people promoting water fluoridation. I know personally that they are incorrect on both fronts. Due to fluoroquinolone antibiotic toxicity, I've been left with severe chemical sensitivities, chronic inflammation, liver and kidney problems, blood sugar regulation issues, and life-threatening allergies. Even trace amounts of artificial fluoride added to the city's water would be extremely detrimental to my health. For me and people like me, there is no safe dose of fluoride to ingest. Fluoride is very difficult to remove completely from the water once it has been added. Even the best water filters on the market cannot guarantee 100% removal. Fluoride can also be absorbed through water used for showering, bathing, swimming, and washing dishes. Thousands of Reginans cannot afford to buy filtered water or expensive water filtration systems, so forced water fluoridation disproportionately harms low-income people in Regina. Fluoride accumulates in the body over time. Even tiny doses can be stored in the body over time, causing health damage. Many studies have shown it is the topical use of fluoride through toothpaste and mouth rinses that will harden teeth, not the ingestion of fluoride. Ingestion of fluoride in water has been shown to have either no effect on cavities or very little effect on cavities. There is no scientific or medical consensus on the effectiveness or safety of long-term fluoride ingestion. Thousands of dentists and doctors worldwide oppose water fluoridation, including Dr. Hardy Lineback, a dentist of 4 decades and former head of preventative dentistry at the University of Toronto. Dr. Lineback speaks against water fluoridation, calling it unsafe, ineffective, and immoral. When I asked Dr. Lineback to speak as a delegation on this issue, he declined, saying, quote, "There is enough evidence of harm from fluoridation. Cities ignore it at their own risk. There will be future toxic torts," end quote. Continuing with water fluoridation puts the city of Regina in a precarious legal and financial position, not to mention ethical. 95% of the world's population does not drink fluoridated water. In fact, many countries have banned the use of fluoride in water supplies, citing it ineffective and toxic. Reginans have voted no on fluoride 4 times in the past. It is impossible that 90% of Reginans now want artificial fluoride added to their water, yet we had 90% of Regina City Councilors voting yes on fluoride. This means the city's elected representatives do not represent the real residents of Regina or the true people's will. No one has the right to poison or harm other people. No one has the right to risk anyone else's health or life for a misguided public health campaign. Reginans cannot be forced to ingest fluoridated water against their will or to pay for fluoridation against their will with tax dollars. The known dangers of fluoride exposure far outweigh any perceived benefits. In light of the huge health risk, including to some of Regina's most vulnerable residents, Regina City Council
in your past 5 minutes. You got 15 seconds.
Must not allocate any budget dollars for water fluoridation or for fluoride infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Mohl has a question.
Thank you, Joe, for your presentation. Curious, why can't people just buy a water filter if they don't want to be exposed to fluoride?
Yes, so there are a few reasons why that is not a satisfactory answer, why that's not a satisfactory solution. Fluoride is very difficult to remove from the water once it's been added. Brita filters or any of the more affordable water filters are useless for removing fluoride, so people will have to invest hundreds or even thousands of dollars for high-end water filtration systems, and even those systems can't guarantee 100% removal of fluoride. This means even if you are shelling out that much money, you will still be exposed to artificial fluoride. You could also absorb fluoride through the skin, through showering, bathing, washing dishes, swimming. There are no commercially available shower filters that I know of that will remove more than 48% of the fluoride, so very inadequate. And of course, there are thousands, and I would actually amend that to tens of thousands of Reginans who simply cannot afford water filtration. I think the situation we've seen today will prove that. Many low-income people just will not have the money for filtered water. They will not be able to buy the filtration systems. Many low-income people don't have access to a vehicle, so having filtered water delivered to your home is even more expensive. So all in all, this is just not a solution.
This is over a year ago now, and now it's in our budget facing us. Not even a reverse osmosis system, and if so, how much does a reverse osmosis system cost?
Some reverse osmosis systems do remove fluoride, others don't. But as far as I know, there are none that can guarantee 100% removal over the lifetime of that system. Reverse osmosis systems are very costly to put into your home. They would run $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They require plumbing infrastructure. Also, there's the problem if you live in an apartment, you will only be able to reverse osmosis your sink water, your kitchen sink water. Your bathroom sink and your shower will also not be affected. So again, the finances and also just the fact that there's a question about how much of the fluoride it will remove and for how long of a time.
You mentioned certain groups in the city. Which groups will be more harmed from exposure to fluoride?
So based on the studies that we know and the areas of health harm, the people in Regina at greater risk of health damage from water fluoridation include fetuses and babies, as well as pregnant mothers, children, people with arthritis, joint problems, or skeletal or dental fluorosis, people with thyroid dysfunction, people with endocrine disruption, people with chemical sensitivities, people who have been injured by fluorine-infused pharmaceuticals or have a family history of those types of injuries, people with ADHD, autism, or other cognitive issues linked to chemical toxicity, people with cognitive decline, people with diabetes or blood sugar regulation problems, people with kidney dysfunction, people with hindered detoxification, people with a personal or family history of heart disease, people with a personal or family history of cancer. It's important to know that the kidneys will only remove between 50 and 70% of ingested fluoride. The rest of it is stored in the body. Bones, brain, kidneys, etc. So people with kidney dysfunction or hindered detoxification are at higher risk of systemic fluoride toxicity simply because their kidneys will be removing less of the fluoride and more will be stored in their bodies. Disabled people, elderly people, and diabetics are often have hindered kidney dysfunction, so those three groups in particular would be at higher risk.
Wow, your wealth of knowledge there. One more question. You mentioned there's no medical or scientific consensus on the safety or efficacy of water fluoridation. Can you tell me some of the groups opposed to water fluoridation? You already answered part of the question. Is there more?
Sorry, the other part of the question is?
I'm just wondering if there's more. You already answered part of this question. Can you tell me some of the groups?
Groups? Yes, I can. So it is very important to understand that there is no scientific and medical consensus, and that there are literally thousands of dentists and doctors worldwide who are opposing water fluoridation. Some of the groups that are opposed to water fluoridation include the American Academy of Environmental Medicine, the Center for Health, Environment and Justice, Children's Health Defense, Eau Secours, Council of Canadians, Environmental Working Group, the Food and Water Watch, the Institute of Neurotoxicology and Neurological Disorders, the International Academy of Biological Dentistry and Medicine, the International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology, the League of United Latin American Citizens, Moms Against Fluoridation, the Organic Consumers Association, and I will also add Regina Safe Water Advocates, Fluoride Free Regina. Just one of those groups, the International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology, represents more than 800 dentists, physicians, and researchers in 14 countries around the world, and they all educate about the dangers of fluoride and oppose water fluoridation.
Thank you very much for your opinion today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks, Councilor Mohl. Real quickly, there's no other questions from council. Just wanted to ask, you presented to council a year and a half ago when fluoride was passed, correct?
No, I did not live in Regina at that time.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.